thinking about moving to Raleigh or planning to visit, the question you've got to be asking yourself is, where am I going to live or stay? It's got to be number one on your list. And today I'm going to explain the area in an easy to understand way that should help you narrow your search and really help you understand the area. Hey, I'm Will Wofford, real estate broker with Berkshire Hathaway. I'm a Raleigh native and I've lived here my whole life. So I know the area very well, and today I'm going to explain the Raleigh area in a way that really makes sense to me, that should give you a much better understanding of the area as a whole. And to really understand what's driving Raleigh, you have to start with the high density areas, which are downtown, North Hills, the Village District, and Crabtree. The reason I want to start here is because Raleigh is a pretty big area. It's almost entirely built out, and to facilitate further growth, the city has done a really good job repurposing older areas into new high-density residential mixed-use developments where residents eat, sleep, work, and play. And these areas are the areas the Go Raleigh transit system, and that's our local bus system, should eventually be able to provide steady, continuous service to these areas, which should reduce the need for cars to a certain extent in the years to come. At least that's the plan. So out of the 4 high-density areas, I want you to think of downtown Raleigh as being the crown jewel. Seriously. This is where you're going to find the tallest buildings, and downtown in general is going to have the highest density of people. But I don't want to scare anyone with the term high density, because I really believe you need to have high density in order to attract and sustain the restaurants, the bars, the retail, and the things to do that you'd expect in a city like Raleigh. And I really think Raleigh's doing an amazing job of executing on these high density areas. The downtown area is comprised of 6 districts plus 2 emerging areas. You're going to find a lot of high-end apartments as well as condos, a few townhomes, and 3 residential neighborhoods, Mordecai, Oakwood, and Boylan Heights. And if you want additional information on the downtown areas, I've got a great video that talks about all the downtown districts. So check that one out, but make sure you watch this video. Check that one out later. Next up, let's talk about North Hills and Crabtree, which are in the Midtown Raleigh area. Midtown lies between downtown Raleigh and North Raleigh. It's a super cool and vibrant section of Raleigh that's poised for significant growth, and it's going to have the 2nd highest density of people. You'll find 2 major shopping centers in this area, Crabtree Valley Mall, which is the largest indoor mall in the Raleigh area, as well as North Hills, which is an urban-style residential mixed-use area with a mix of apartments, condos, office space, and retail, with detached homes around the perimeter and lots of restaurants, shopping, and things to do in this area in general. This area is in the midst of major construction. Crabtree's got construction going on right now across the street from it, as well North Hills has 2 $1+ billion projects underway, and there's another one that just cleared, but that's going to be a assisted living facility across the street. Major projects going on in Midtown. And on the one main side of North Hills, 2 massive projects going on that are replacing the old Penny's building. And the high density is used to facilitate North Raleigh, Northeast Raleigh, so those folks don't have to come all the way to downtown. This part of Raleigh is also home to Wegmans, Trader Joe's, Harris Teeter, and Costco. So lots of people come to this area to work, shop, and dine at the restaurants and attend concerts and events, which also makes it a really great place to live because it lies almost in the center of Raleigh with easy access to all the major roads that connect the Triangle area. And by the way, I've lived in North Hills my whole life. Super familiar with North Hills, obviously. Just amazing the transformation. But North Hills will be 2nd to downtown Raleigh as far as density. Crabtree, really, I think that's going to come. I mean, this is, I guess, could be highly controversial, but obviously closed malls aren't really as popular as they used to be, let's say 15 years ago. And everything has kind of shifted to the urban open air concept where you live, work, sleep, and play. You don't live at the mall, you don't work at the mall unless you work in the mall. But now they're building these huge office buildings where thousands of people work in them, and they're able to come downstairs and they're able to eat at the restaurants for lunch. So they patronize all the local businesses, which helps give us top tier restaurants that people want. I eventually see Crabtree probably doing the same because it's a very large piece of land. It is kind of on a floodplain, but I'm sure they'll figure out how to do it. So for now, it's a closed mall, very big, but I would bet my money that that turns into a more urban type area, high density with office buildings as well. That will continue to fuel the growth in this area. So it's going to be a while for that. In fact, they probably don't have any plans for that. I'm just suspecting. And as I mentioned, there are lots of apartments in the Midtown area with more on the way, as well as condos, single family homes. And so from an expense point, I would say that the downtown area is on par with the North Hills area, but North Hills has some homes where they've been tearing down the homes and they've been replacing with new homes, where Boylan Heights, Mordecai, and Oakwood, you're not going to have as many teardowns there because those are historic areas. So in North Hills, you have homes that were built in the 60s and 70s that were in need of significant repairs, and people were buying those homes. They've got larger lots, maybe up to a half acre, and they're putting up to $3 million houses on those lots right now. You've got a fairly wide mix of housing options in the North Hills Midtown area. And Crabtree is the same pretty much, but you just haven't started tearing down houses on that side yet. If that mall came down and they really started building this high density residential mixed use area, then that would really start spurring more and more growth. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, the last high density area is going to be Cameron Village, which is residential mixed use area that's similar in many ways to North Hills, with lots of apartments, shopping, restaurants, and things to do. That's adjacent to NC State, with Cameron Park really separates the two, and this is definitely a super cool area to hang out. A lot of people from all over come to this area, mainly because of NC State, and there's a lot going on Hillsborough Street. A lot of people watching. You can actually walk to downtown to Glenwood South from Cameron Village. So in general, Cameron Village, the building heights aren't going to be anywhere close to as high as North Hills, but they don't need to be because it's already a dense area and you can already walk to downtown Raleigh, like I said. So this is an old area. Just to give you a little bit of history, Raleigh started in downtown Raleigh in the Capital District, and Mordecai and Oakwood are really the first two areas. The first planned subdivision was Boylan Heights around 1915. But around the same time as Boylan Heights, you had Cameron Park and you had Glenwood Brooklyn, or Glenwood, some people call it, and you had Wilmont that was just down from Cameron Park in what's now University Park, and that would be across from NC State. So you've got some older neighborhoods where the housing in this area is going to be totally different than the housing in any of the other areas I'm going to talk about. They're really cool. They're really unique places with a lot of local character. So I just want to throw that out there. Plus, Cameron Village is part of the larger area locals refer to as ITB, or inside the Beltline. And just broadly speaking, this is the most coveted area to live in all of Raleigh. There's several really historic and super popular neighborhoods that are located here, like Five Points, Cameron Park, as I've mentioned, Glenwood Brooklyn, Budley, Sunset Hills, and Cameron Village, to name a few. And this area is also where you'll find the Carolina Country Club, which is the oldest country club in Raleigh. And as far as the housing goes in ITB, you'll find apartments, condos, townhomes, and single-family detached homes, just like you'll find in downtown Raleigh and Midtown. And ITB has a lot of older homes, as I've mentioned, as well, with a limited supply of new homes mixed in. So the only way you're going to get a new home is if you tear down an older home and you build the new home. And I hope that explains ITB. And it's not the entire inside the Raleigh Beltline. It's definitely not, and that's why I put a map here. This is the area. Downtown's in there. You got downtown, you got the ITB area, and you have other areas that are inside that loop that are not part of that coveted area, so to speak. That's what locals consider ITB. All right, the next area we're going to talk about is Southwest Raleigh. it's a big area. And I guess what I really want to show you with this area is there's a lot of things to do, but there's not a lot of places to live. This is where you're going to find NC State University, Meredith College, our State Farmers Market, Lake Johnson, Dix Park, Pullen Park, the State Fairgrounds, as well as the North Carolina Art Museum, the PNC Arena, where the Carolina Hurricanes and the NC State men's basketball team play, as well as Carter Finley, where NC State plays football. So a lot of things to do in this area. And I will tell you, the PNC also hosts a steady stream of big name concerts. And you go to Carter Finley when you really want to see a big concert if it comes to town, like could be Elton John, could be U2, could be Pink Floyd. I mean, I guess they could still pack that. 50,000 people, that'd be Carter Finley. 20,000, that'd be the PNC. So a lot of good acts come through there. And you also have the State Fairgrounds that's located in this area. So that's, you know, the biggest attraction that comes through in the state for, I guess it's 10 days in October each year. And since this area is big, as I mentioned, there's not that many places to live. And the reason is, as you cross Tryon Road on Lake Wheeler Road, you'll find some really big farms. It's a beautiful, beautiful area. But all those farms are part of the NC State Agricultural Program, as well as Yates Mill Pond. So super beautiful area, but as you can see, there aren't many homes on this side of Tryon Road. But for the rest of Southwest Raleigh, you will find lots of older apartments, condos, townhomes, and single-family detached homes. And the detached single-family homes are going to be much harder to come by, as townhomes and condos really dominate the resale market in this section of Raleigh, which leads to a lower price on average. But it's a highly desirable area. A lot of NC State students live here, but it's also super convenient to carry in the Research Triangle Park in downtown. You see a lot of rentals in this area, but I think as Raleigh continues to grow, you'll see a lot of these homes being torn down, because you will find a few homes out here with larger lots, and the proximity to downtown Raleigh, the RTP and Cary, and of course the rest of Raleigh is really good. This is an area where I think you'll see growth, but it's not going to be with like new housing communities. It's going to be a location based where it's tear downs. So that's Southwest Raleigh. All right, next up you have South Raleigh. And South Raleigh has easy access to downtown Raleigh, but currently doesn't really have much of a selection of restaurants, shopping, or things to do, aside from Walnut Creek Amphitheater, which is an incredible place to take in a concert. And that place holds about 22,000, by the way, so a lot of acts come through there. But I will tell you that plans were recently approved for a major sports and entertainment complex to be built in South Raleigh that could really turn things around for this area and ultimately lead to more housing, restaurants, and things to do in this section of Raleigh. Right now, though, Southeast Raleigh, depending upon where you're at, if you're just beneath Raleigh, you could call that South Raleigh. That's obviously going to have a little bit higher demand than the area that's closer toward Knightdale or Garner. A lot of areas that are agricultural out here, open areas, and you'll have a lot of single-family detached home areas where the houses are kind of crammed in here. They're not necessarily in the best condition. So this area is going to be the least expensive area in Raleigh, hands down. Also, could have some higher crime here if you look at niche.com, but lowest cost area in Raleigh, fewest amount of things to do, closest proximity to downtown. All right, next up we've got Northeast Raleigh, and this area of Raleigh has quite a few parks and green spaces, and our Greenway system of trails pretty much runs throughout Northeast Raleigh. The second largest mall in the Raleigh area, the Triangle Town Center Mall, is located in Northeast Raleigh at the corner of Capitol Boulevard and the 540 Outer Loop. One of the real pros of Northeast Raleigh is 540 kind of dead ends at the end of Northeast Raleigh, before you get to Southeast Raleigh. So Southeast Raleigh is not connected to the 540 Outer Loop, which kind of hurts the value of Southeast Raleigh. Southwest Raleigh isn't either, but the 440 belt line runs right through the middle of Southwest Raleigh, so you don't have any commute problems getting to Cary or the RTP. Where you will have problems depending upon your location in Southeast Raleigh. In Northeast Raleigh, the 540 outer loop runs all the way around Northeast Raleigh, as well as the 440 belt line that runs through Northeast Raleigh. So Northeast Raleigh is about a 30-minute commute to the RTP, so it's manageable. But you'll find affordable housing in Northeast Raleigh. It's not going to be the style of housing that you're going to find in Southeast Raleigh. It's actually going to be quite a step up, but it's going to be less expensive than North Raleigh. A lot of first-time home buyers will buy in Northeast Raleigh because they can get a nice house, they get a nice lot, and they've got a manageable commute time to the RTP or downtown Raleigh. So that really drives the demand for Northeast Raleigh. The popular zip code there, 27616, is actually one of the highest appreciating zip codes in the U.S. So, a little fact about Northeast Raleigh. And if you look at the map I've drawn for Northeast Raleigh, you can see Triangle Town Center is a little pink circle, and that big black line that I've drawn just beneath Northeast Raleigh, that's the 540 outer loop. So you can see how it just cuts right through the center of Northeast Raleigh. And the lower portion, just under North Hills, just to the right of North Hills, that's actually inside the 440 belt line. So, you have access to the 440 belt line or the 540. And the little pink line that I've got that's going toward North Hills, that's Buffalo Road. You can actually take that pink road and it'll run you right into North Hills. And if you, just as you get out of Northeast Raleigh on the pink road, you can actually turn just slightly and it'll run you right downtown on Capitol Boulevard. Northeast Raleigh is convenient to downtown Raleigh. It's convenient to North Hills. It's convenient, obviously, Triangle Town Center is there. So you've got an affordable place to live. But unlike Southeast Raleigh, you've got things to do and you've got amenities. Well, you don't really have that many things to do, but you've got amenities. And amenities are important. And all along number 1 or Capitol Boulevard, all the way to Wake Forest, it's not an industrial area, but there's shopping. Lowe's, Home Depot, all up and down that street. So you're going to have multiple Lowe's and Home Depots between Raleigh by the time you get to Wake Forest on that road. So that road has lots. Car dealerships, shopping, you name it. Cabinet makers, everything. So this part of Raleigh still has land to be developed, and you will see additional townhomes and single-family home communities being developed, and the majority of housing options include apartments, townhomes, and single-family homes. All right, the last section of Raleigh is North Raleigh. And North Raleigh is a substantial section of Raleigh. Sometimes people think of North Raleigh as being Northwest Raleigh and North Raleigh, but here I've combined them just into one, so you can see it either way. So when you envision the suburbs, you're thinking about North Raleigh for sure. And there are really a lot of things to do in this area, like Umstead Park, which is the most popular and most visited park in the entire state. It's about a 5,000 acre park, so you got a lot of trails to ride your bike. I think it's 3 or 4 lakes out there. You can camp out there. They got tons of picnic areas where you can grill, walking trails, just go out there and just walk around. You've also got Falls Lake in this area, which is a great place to go boating and hiking with tons of trails around the lake as well. And there are lots of restaurants and shopping in North Raleigh with 3 massive golf course communities, which are Briar Creek, North Ridge, and Wakefield. And Briar Creek is right on the edge by the RDU airport. North Ridge is really right in the middle, and Wakefield is going to be the most northern part of North Raleigh. And it's adjacent to Wake Forest, really. I mean, you literally cross number 1, Capitol Boulevard, and you're in Wake Forest. Wakefield is a super, super nice community. So all those communities, Briar Creek, North Ridge, and Wakefield, lots of shopping, lots of restaurants all around those. So I would say with North Raleigh, this is where you're going to find the house with the fence, the larger yard, 1/4 acre, 3/8 of an acre, generally, maybe half an acre. And this other area that's outside the 540 that I've shaded in, That's actually outside the city limits. Generally, those houses are on an acre to 2 acres of land. That's the Falls Lake watershed area. You will find some really mega houses out in this area that are just outside of the city limits. I've got videos on all the luxury areas, North Raleigh luxury areas, if you want to check out this video. After you watch this video, of course. Super, super high-end homes once you cross that 540. Otherwise, Northridge and Wakefield are where you're going to find the really high-end, up to $3 million homes, maybe even more than $3 million, maybe $4 million. Big. So Wakefield or Northridge, they're doing a lot of tear downs. It's in a renaissance because they've changed the zoning to kind of stimulate growth there, and builders buying 2 houses, knocking them down and putting 3 or 4 houses where those 2 were. Still got really nice lots on the golf course, but multi-million-dollar homes here. Northridge is going to be the most convenient for sure. All the other neighborhoods in North Raleigh are nice. They're just not going to be as elaborate. At all the major roads, Creedmoor Road, Six Forks Road, Falls of the Neuse, you've got grocery stores and shopping all up and down those roads. So plenty of shopping and grocery store options. Once you cross the 540, houses, like I said, are going to be big, but they're going to be less shopping options. And so by the time you get out to Falls Lake, while it might seem really cool to live at Falls Lake, there is nothing to do at Falls Lake. Okay, so you're going to have a killer, incredible house. You might get a multi-million-dollar house out there, but you're going to be driving a long way. You're going to have to drive into North Raleigh if you want to go to restaurants, grocery stores. If you want to see festivals and all that stuff, then you have to come all the way to downtown Raleigh. That's where they have all the festivals, Dix Park, downtown Raleigh, Fayetteville Street. But if you don't care about any of that and you want to live out, really far out, have a really nice big mega house, then that could be the perfect place for you. Really nice neighborhoods out there for sure. For all, you're going to find condos, townhomes, like I said, in single detached homes, wide selection of houses, all price ranges in North Raleigh, up to multi-million and affordable homes. You're going to be much more convenient to places. So North Raleigh, you can kind of see how, looking at this diagram, North Hills is a cutout shape because actually North Hills used to be part of North Raleigh, but it became its own area. And inside the Beltline, you can see that Northwest Raleigh borders ITB and obviously North Hills. So there's some areas of North Raleigh that are just super, super convenient to North Hills and ITB, while others, are going to be more convenient to the 540 for looping around. But North Raleigh in general is going to be convenient for the RTP, Durham, Chapel Hill, and it's going to give you that suburban feel if that's what you're looking for. Well, I sure hope this video helped you get a better understanding of the Raleigh areas. If you'd like more information about the Raleigh areas, give me a call, shoot me a text, drop me an email, or subscribe to the channel, as I'm putting out new content every single week about life in Raleigh and where to live, and I'll see you on the next video.